On August 13th, 2022, something incredible happened that might have changed the game of Valorant, the TAC FPS game produced by Riot Games, forever. Deep in the Sierra Nevada mountains, a man sits cross-legged, meditating for many days. Locals do not know who he is. He does not eat. He does not drink. He merely whispers the word chamber over and over. That man is SeanGares Gares, the head coach of professional Valorant team 100 Thieves. After spending what felt like an eternity searching for enlightenment, he eventually finds the answers he is looking for. He returns to the rest of his team. There, the young group of Will, Asuna, Bang, Stella, and Derek are greeted by the now enlightened SeanGares Gares, and he utters to them a few simple words. "What if we just played well?" he says. The players are stunned, having never realized this was a possibility. However, they bow in wisdom to their coach and proceed to play their next match versus FaZe Clan with these words ringing through their heads. The results of which will now be the discussion point for the rest of this video. So yeah, today we are going to take a look at 100 Thieves versus FaZe on Ascent, because 100 Thieves did play pretty well, and I'll explain exactly what I mean and why, this was like so refreshing to see in some of the later rounds. But let's start with round number 3. 100 Thieves are on the defense, FaZe are on the attack, and this is a 100 Thieves bonus round, as you can see. But one thing to note as well is that FaZe are playing the Phoenix. Baby Bay is playing Phoenix, and well, in this round you're going to see that they get a bit kind of obsessed with the Phoenix ult, I think, and trying to farm up as many orbs as they can onto the Phoenix, and ult as many times as they can, right? They're against a bonus here. They shouldn't really need an ult to win this round. But what you've seen there is they've got the early B ult orb there for the Phoenix, and we've got this Sage Wall back in towards mid, right? Towards short. And so they've taken early B main control, but in response, 100 Thieves have decided to push back towards A main, and they have this setup here where they have the Sage Wall that's not being broken there either. So what's going to happen is Asuna is going to flash around that corner there and destroy the chamber trap. So what that means is, because FaZe want to come back here and get this ult orb as well for Baby Bay so that then he has his ult, that means that they are going to use some utility here. They're going to send in a KO flash, they're going to send the KO knife in, and that's going to hit Asuna, and that's quite important that it does hit him, because it could mean that he's still in here, right? It could still mean that he's really pushed up, and there could be someone in wine as well. So you're going to see that they're going to use utility to clear wine as well here, as they're going to send an Oma flash down here, and they're going to send in the KO nade as they avoid Asuna's knife there. Oma flash goes in, they send the KO nade, they get Baby Bay his ult. But now a crucial thing happens as well, which is Flyer on the other side of the map has got a kill on B. So I think maybe initially they were thinking, well, let's just go A with the ult now, but Flyer gets a kill, so they decide to come back to B, but then he doesn't expect that Derek is going to be there as well, so he dies. But now the call has kind of already come to B, and so they were kind of closer to B than A, but now the time is running very low because they wasted so much time getting all that other stuff. So and they don't even know that B main's clear now, because obviously they got that kill on Flyer, so they don't even know what's in here now, so they have to flash around this corner as well. And you see that the problems start to mount up, and whilst that's all gone on as well, Asuna has actually pushed back on them here. He's found the right timing to come pushing back, and so 100 Thieves already know that it's going to be a B hit at this point because there's so little time left, and Asuna is already in this position, so they know that it's coming. And what's going to happen is Derek is about to catch the timing, right? And because they've been farming up these ult orbs, obviously 100 Thieves have seen that Baby Bay has got his ult now, so they're expecting it, right? So the ult comes in, and Derek is just holding out a seize, and he just seizes Baby Bay, and so his ult is basically worthless at this point. Now they do actually manage to find the kill on Asuna, who was trying to come on the flank. But the thing is now, as you can see, the time is really running low. Baby Bay's ult is about to expire, so he's about to just disappear. And what happens is we get a really nice flash coming in from Bang here as they're trying to plant the spike. They manage to get the kills that they need. They manage to kill Superman on the spike as well, and Baby Bay ends up in an unwinnable position, as he, obviously his ult ends and he has to come back to B main, and 100 Thieves win the round. And you see the FaZe maybe get like a bit obsessed, as I said, with the Phoenix ult there. They shouldn't, in theory, really need it. The timing of that kill that they got kind of almost cost them this round as well, though, because I think they probably would have just gone A, but obviously, once they got that first kill, they thought, hey, let's go to B. But now let's come to the part that impressed me about 100 Thieves most, and we'll see a good example of it here in round number 7. FaZe are going to misplay, I think, pretty badly the start of this round. They're just going to go for an A hit, essentially, as the knife comes in from both sides. They put some pressure there. They send the early Sova Dart out as well. They get this early A main control. They also get Baby Bay the orb, as you can see there, and they're just going to go for an A hit. But, I mean, the way that they do this is just so weird, I would say, right? Because you have things like the drone that could be used pretty helpfully here. You have a lot of stuff that they potentially could work with, but they just decide to don't do that, right? So what happens here is the Phoenix Wall comes up, and it seems like maybe they're ready to go. KO knife comes out, smoke comes out, right? And as soon as that came out, I was like, okay, well, they're going to wait for the dart and the knife to come back. That just makes sense at this point. You've been delayed off the first trip. Why would you not just wait for those good bits of utility to come in so that you can, clear angles for yourself and, figure out what's going on. But instead, they kind of don't do that, right? Because they don't wait for any of that utility to come in. They instead just decide to run in off a random point. And they do go with this overall, right? It's not like completely terrible, but it was just kind of an odd timing, I thought. And so what happens is Asuna actually manages to just get the first kills from just spraying here. They don't even see Bang at this point, right? And so they get a heavily delayed. Dicey is actually able to find that kill, but now the spike is down. A Seize comes out. They don't get hit by that. And so we end up in a 4v4 actually, right? So it's still very winnable for either side. But again, it's going to be the same thing where they just go in, right? Flare has a dart now. He still has the drone as well. And Superman just TPs in, and they never cleared Bang, right? They never wait, no wait for the dart, right? But just TP in first. Doesn't make any sense, and they end up just getting pretty destroyed here overall. But again, Dicey is able to find another kill before we can trade it out, and we end up in a 2v1. Now, Flyer eventually now is going to use the drone, perhaps a bit late, but he does use the drone. But this is the part that I was most impressed with, right? So we end up in this 2v1. The drone has just come out here. Look at where Stellar is, right? He's on this like big flank, right? That's going to take a long time for him to get there. And so what do they decide to do here, 100 Thieves? What does Will decide to do? They decide to meet up here in mid. Right, they cancel this plan of going on the flank. They cancel this idea of trying to hold this A site. They just go and meet up together. Right, this is something that you just do not see. It's something that you should see a lot of. But I remember when they did this, the commentary team were kind of a bit like, oh wow, that they're getting back together. Oh, that makes sense. And yeah, it does make sense, right? Play the 2v1 as a 2v1 rather than potentially two 1v1s, right? Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. And 100 Thieves did this way better than I've seen, almost any other team. And this is what I mean by playing well, is that this isn't guaranteeing you win the round, right? Fly could still just, hit some nasty shots. He could still, just isolate the angles. And he is actually going to do that for one of the 1v1s. But it just increases your chance of winning a lot by doing this, right? They just gained like 10% chance of winning just by the fact that they made this decision to just come and regroup together. Flyer, as you can see, is confused as well. He's like, hold on a second. This is a Valorant pro game. Where's my fight? Where's my 1v1? It's not there, right? Because 100 Thieves decided to play this correctly. And as I said, this is quite rare. A lot rarer than it should be in Pro Valorant. This should just be automatic, but teams do not do this. They are impatient. And you'll see here that Flyer, he swings out here and he is just able to isolate this angle and get behind this box just as the slow comes down there. But thankfully, will win this round. But that decision is the correct decision. And everyone knows it's the correct decision. But for whatever reason, in these moments, even though sometimes you have the time to think, right, in a 2v1, right, there is a bit of time before any action is really going on. Teams just don't do it. Everyone has that ego of, I'm going to win this fight for my team. And thankfully, 100 Thieves in this game, really had an emphasis on not doing that. And they got rewarded time after time for those decisions. And now let's come to the very next round, round number 8. And again, this idea of playing safe, playing together as a team is going to work pretty well here for 100 Thieves, as it is actually a bit of a save here. You can see that Dicey and Superman are the only one with rifles here, but FaZe decide to make a bit of a mid play here. As you can see, they come in, they drone, they're going to destroy this chamber trap as well. How this Prowler doesn't see anyone, I have literally no idea. It doesn't really make any sense to me, but it doesn't. But what's going to happen here is they're about to get the first kill, 100 Thieves, down towards short. We're actually going to see a fatal as well as, FaZe are playing a bit risky. They try and walk in here, but Bang is going to manage to find that first kill. And they actually use the fatal here, as you can see, that tags 2 people as well. But what I was really impressed with is Bang also goes and flashed, is Bang's next decision. What he's about to do is very good, which is come here and come and play with Asuna, right? Go and play retake on A. Right, Asuna still can see if anyone's coming here, but this would be a difficult shot to hit if they did run in here, but that's fine. You're in a 5v4 against, not full guns, right? You should be feeling pretty confident that you could win this round if they do all just decide to run A, right? So this decision by Bang to not just stick on this A site is really, really good at this point, because 5v4 retake against worse guns, you should be fine, right? So he is maybe a bit worried that they might do this and that he might be killed from behind or whatever, but now he, you know, has none of that worries, right? If Asuna got smoked off here and they did decide to come to him on A, he's all of a sudden in a lot of trouble. Maybe he gives them a gun, maybe it's a 4v4, maybe they lose the round, right? But instead, this decision to walk back in here and play right next to Asuna means, one, if anyone does come to him, you know, they're there to trade off each other straight away because they're right next to each other, right? And they still have eyes on what's going on. They're just playing smart. They're playing safe, right? And again, 100 Thieves are gonna get rewarded for it because as this smoke drops, eventually what's gonna happen is Bang's gonna go crazy because he had a crazy game in today as well. You see that as they start to come in, you know, 100 Thieves are ready to trade off each other in come phase, but Bang was just absolutely feeling it. But you see that Aston was right there as well if there was danger to potentially trade any kill that came in from phase. And so we end up in a 5v1 and Bang, for that good decision, I think the Valorant gods rewarded him with, okay, we'll give you an ace, right? Because you made a correct decision of playing safe, playing with your team, you know, when you potentially, it could be a dangerous decision. And yesterday's games were full of bad decisions, by the way. You know, even very high level games are full of mistakes like that, where people just don't play safe. You know, you see 4v2 situations where 2 people end up on site, those 2 people die, you end up in a 2v2. That happens a lot in Pro Valorant right now, and it shouldn't do. And if everyone made decisions like Bang, that wouldn't happen nearly as much. And now let's come to the very next round as well, round number 9, and this time it's Will who is going to be rewarded by the Valorant gods with a 4K because he makes the correct decision. As you will see, it actually starts off with some early aggression from him as he's going to push here and manage to get this first kill, as you see just there, and TP away. But now we're in a 5v4 and he doesn't get too aggressive, right? The shots start to come out, he backs off, right? He realizes the situation that they're in, he feels confident that, okay, we can still win this. Bang managed to go 1 for 1 there. We end up in a 4v3. Will manages to get another one, but Dicey somehow managed to actually get 2 and get Stellar as well there. So we end up now in a 3v2. Now obviously they're trying to figure out exactly where FaZe might be. Superman is going to teleport there towards logs, but Derek is going to figure that out and he's going to put a C's there. And so Superman gets called by it, but Superman does really well here to just put this little smoke in here, and then he's going to TP again. And you see that, you know, 100 Thieves are looking around where exactly he could have gone. They're a bit confused about exactly where he is. Is he in the smoke? You know, they don't really know. And so he's actually able to get the kill on Derek there. But Will managed to get the kill on Superman, right? But this is where, again, Will is going to get rewarded for making a good decision because he has a couple choices. And you see, his initial reaction here is going to be to go forward. But what should you do in this situation? Not go forward. So you see, initially it's like, let's go for a fight, let's do it, right? But then he realizes the situation and he makes the correct decision. He puts down his rendezvous and he teleports away, right? He leaves the spike, he teleports away. It's a 2v1. You don't need the spike. You don't need to guard the spike. It's a 2v1. If you just play together, you should be good, right? And so he comes right back to Asuna. You know, he knows obviously that Flyer is probably on this B site somewhere. And so he's happy to, or if not, he has to come and get the spike at some point. So he's happy to just leave the spike, play with his teammate, play together, and they'll be fine. And he's going to get rewarded for that again. And you saw, initially he was like, let's go. But then he thought better of it, and they're going to get rewarded, and they're going to win this round as well, as they come in as a team, and, you know, they're going to send these flashes out, and you see that both flashes are actually going to hit him here, and so, you know, Flyer doesn't even really know where he is. Will swings round, and that was pretty much unlosable, right? It was pretty much unlosable because Will decided to play in that 2v1 with Asuna, who had full utility at that point as well, and yeah, it was really well played there by Will, and he gets rewarded, as I said, with a 4K because he played this round just very smartly. But now let's come to round number 11, which is a bit of a crazy round. It kind of shows the opposite side of the coin, which can be the correct decision. It just depends on the circumstances. And so let's take a look at it, because what's going to happen here, with 55 seconds left in the round, not much has happened at this point, to be honest. We've got a KO knife here, but just before that, we've got the Sage Wall coming up here, kind of creating a bit of an interesting angle, as you can see. And FaZe are going to run a bit of a fake here. They're going to have both the KO and the Phoenix ult, and they're going to decide to, yeah, run a bit of a fake, as you can see, as they come towards B main. But you can see that also Stellar is very aware that, you know, with both of these ults, you know, it's very possible that they're going to pop both of them, and so a stage slow would be quite good. So he hears the KO ult noise, and then instantly, you know, the stage slow comes out, and that does a lot of work here trying to stop them. But unfortunately, he's actually not able to get Baby Bay there as he's flashed, who manages to get the first kill, and now they're in trouble. But the thing is, 100 Thieves didn't really move, as you can see, by this fake. Bang, you know, seemingly suspecting that something might be up, but unfortunately he can't manage to find that kill. But Asuna is able to get Dicey down there, but Baby Bay has killed Will as well, and so we end up actually in a 4v2. Here's the thing, in a 4v2, you take a risk. You don't play safe now, right? You're now at the disadvantage. You need to just do something at this point. And so Asuna, somehow this happens where he flashes. Even though he gets flashed himself, he just starts shooting. He hits one. Derek gets one as well. And all of a sudden the time isn't there for FaZe. And Derek just goes and hides, and, well, eventually he's going to kill Baby Bay here, and he actually ends up winning the round here with a clutch by just staying alive. But yeah, it's all about situation. And again, Asuna made the right choice there, because he's in a 4v2. So if they play safe, they're not going to win the round. So he has to just do something crazy. He gets rewarded for it. God knows how he's hitting those shots. But the flash worked perfectly as well, and they managed to win the round. Now, finally, let's come to the last round of the game, round 16. So 100 Thieves are on the attacking side now, and you'll see that they now are going to run a bit of a fake as well. As they start off with a lot of early pressure towards A. You can see they Omen TP in, they get the KO nade in there, they get the KO knife in there, Fade Haunt comes in. It all looks like this is going to be a bit of a fast A piece, but then actually what's going on is we've got the two players here from 100 Thieves walking up towards B side and taking a lot of control here. As you see, FaZe heavily rotate towards this A side, and then crucially what's about to happen is Will is going to come around this corner and win this fight against Flyer, and they end up in this 5v4, and obviously they have the main control. But here's the crucial thing again, they're going to make the right choice. They don't overextend. They're in a 5v4 now. Pushing this and, you know, continuing to be aggressive here wouldn't be the correct choice. You're going to see that they start pinging out this because they realize that this is the threat, that if someone does come down here on short and catches the spike crossing across there, that they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So you see that this is just really well played. Good patience from 100 Thieves. Again, not overextending. They're going to show the door. Look, they start pinging all of this. They're actually going to put a smoke there as well, just to make sure, and the spike is going to wait for that smoke to actually cross across the other way. These two just hold the site, right? They just kind of wait. FaZe, you can see, already think they might have crossed in towards the site. I think FaZe got a bit confused about what's going on, because again, FaZe are used to people just, you know, continuing to push, right? In this situation, normally someone just pushes into a random angle, dies, we end up in a 4v4, but Will and Bang here are just holding for it, waiting for their team, and we end up in this 5v3. Will even TPs away there, right? Makes the correct decision again, not to just stick a fight. TPs away. We end up with a trade there. We end up in a 3v1. And again, this was 100 Thieves being rewarded for their situational play. You've got Asuna now coming through mid instead, and he's going to find the free kill on Superman to just end the game there from mid. 100 Thieves played this game really, really well, and basically they won the game easily for it, right? They just destroyed FaZe on this map because they just played as a team. They made smart decisions. When they needed to take risks, they took risks. When they needed to play safe, they played safe. And they destroyed FaZe, right? Because teams don't do this often. You know, I know it seems shocking that this would seem like such a simple idea, but whether it's just the heat of the moment or they're used to playing, you know, ranked, and in ranked everyone just, you know, wants to be a hero, whatever, you see a lot of hero plays in Valorant. Even Simple talked about it as well. You know, that people overpeak in Valorant way too much, and it's true. But here was a great example of a team and what happens when a team decides to play basically with the odds in their favor. Well, yeah, you win a map very convincingly.